So if we look at this curl typing chart, I would say that this person is type 2 and this person is type 3. But here's the thing, they're both me, taken days apart, just using slightly different styling techniques. Let's talk about why I'm not a fan of curl typing and why I want you guys to stop asking me what my curl type is. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, also known as Britt Curls on the internet. Nice to meet you. Here we talk about all things curly hair, so if you want to rock your best curls, make sure to tap that subscribe button down below, and don't forget to hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I post. Let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about curl typing, why I don't like it, some of the criticisms against it, and what I recommend instead for new curlies when trying to take advice online. So let's back up a bit and talk a little bit about the history of curl typing. So the curl typing system was developed by a man named Andre Walker, who was actually Oprah Winfrey's hairstylist, and the curl typing system wasn't really meant to be the widely used classification system that it is today. In fact, the curl typing system was developed as part of an ad campaign for Walker's line of hair care products, and it just took off, and 30 years later, wait, right? The 90s were 30 years ago now? 30 years ago. Yep. I still have that thing in my head where the 90s are 10 years ago, and that has not been a thing for a long time. But I digress. So Walker's reasoning for using a numbered system was that it is the least curly to the most curly. So the biggest number gets the most curls. But here's the deal. Using the number 1 for the straightest and least curly hair that most likely a white woman would have insinuates that it has the most importance. Now, of course, this is not what Walker meant to do, but the curl typing system has received a fair amount of criticism for that reason. In addition, the curl typing system seems to create a ton of confusion, especially for new curlies. If any of you guys are in curly Facebook groups, you know that there are posts every single day asking, what is my curl type? I can't figure it out. Someone please help me. And a picture of themselves asking what their curl type is. In addition, I get messages and comments almost every single day asking what my curl type is. And I've honestly started to wonder, what the heck are people doing with this information? Really? So here's the thing. Curl typing is a visual system, so you should be able to look at any picture, any video of a person, even me, and be able to put that person within a given range in the curl typing system. And note that I said range. Most people have a variety of curl patterns on their head, so they don't fit squarely into one bucket. So this is the only time I'm going to say this, but I would probably consider myself to be somewhere in between 2C to 3A. But here's the thing, this can vary. So as I mentioned at the top of this video, just the way you style your hair can totally make your curls look different, which can affect your curl type. Or the weather. Here in the winter months, my hair gets a lot more stretched out, but if you look at any of my videos that I filmed in the summer, so my I Quit the Curly Girl Method video that was filmed in September, I think, I have like spirals. So even just a different month can affect your curl type. And then for other people, it's hard because they might not know what their curls will look like. So anyone who's new to wearing their hair curly, that might be coming from chemical damage or wearing it straight every single day, their curls will probably transform as the damage grows out and starts to subside. So there's really no good way for them to figure out what their curl type is until they actually get to the point where their curls are completely healthy. So now that we've touched on why curl typing might not be the best system to use, I kind of want to go back to the question I just posed a little earlier, which is, when people ask me what my curl type is, what the heck are they doing with this information? A lot of these messages and comments that I get seem to insinuate that people need to know my curl type before they can take my advice. So if someone is commenting and they know that they have 3A hair, they want me to say that I have 3A hair, otherwise they will not take my advice because in their mind, nothing that I say is relevant to them. And that cannot be further from the truth. Even if I did, reply back and say that I had the same curl type as the person who was commenting, knowing my curl type will not tell you whether or not the products I like will work for you. Knowing my curl type will not tell you whether or not the techniques I use will work for you. In fact, knowing my curl type will not tell you much of anything at all. And that's because curl type alone doesn't give the full picture. There are so many variables that can determine whether or not a product or technique can work for you, such as your porosity, how dense your hair is, how much experience you have with different styling techniques, your environment, is it humid or dry, your water, is it hard or soft, how far along you are in your transition, do you still have chemical damage? All these sorts of things kind of play into whether or not my direct recommendations can work for you. But I get it. You want a way to figure out what advice online is relevant to you. Because it's hard, there's a ton out there, so you don't know what to take and kind of what to ignore. So I wanted to touch upon how I found success early on in my curly journey, and maybe that would be helpful to you. First, I tried to follow curlies online who had a similar, not the same, similar curl pattern to mine. Now, this is definitely hard for those that really don't know what their curl pattern is going to be like, but you got to start somewhere. So just start following people online consuming curly content. So for me, some of the first two curlies that I followed were Nirvana and Lulu. Both of them seemed to have somewhat similar curls to mine, and I really liked consuming their content. So next I tried to make informed purchase decisions. So I purchased Bounce Curl Light Cream Gel on Nirvana's recommendation, and I loved it. So then my next goal was like, okay, how do I find more products just like this that will work for me? So I started to kind of research ingredients a little bit more, pay attention to what my hair liked and didn't like. And I found that just like Bounce Curl Light Cream Gel, I liked lightweight products. Light is literally in the name of that one. And I tended to like products that had protein. So using that kind of framework allowed me to purchase more products that were kind of in the same vein, and I continued to find success because I learned what my hair liked. Next, I binged styling routines. So Lulu and Domi's routines were some of the two that I watched the most. So if you want to like scroll way back in their feed, you can kind of see what I was watching initially. And I think that this is super helpful because especially for new curlies, you just kind of forget that there are all these different ways to apply products, or maybe not even forget, like that's not the right word. You don't know that there are all these different ways to apply products. So for example, before Instagram and YouTube, I had no idea that like praying hands would be a way to apply, a product. There's no way I ever could have come up with that on my own. So watching different styling routines can really kind of give you some idea starters for how to build your own routine. And, watching those initial routines from Lulu and Domi have still kind of affected the way that I style my hair today. So next I opened up who I was following. So I started following curl specialists online who are giving recommendations based on their experiences with their many clients. And I also started following people who didn't look like me. And this is something that really surprised me. There were people I followed whose hair looked nothing like mine, yet we loved all the same products and we used a lot of the same techniques. So just because someone has a different curl pattern than you doesn't mean that you can't take their advice or use their styling techniques or purchase a product based on their recommendation. And this may not be what you want to hear, but it brings me to my last point. You have to experiment. Experiment, make mistakes, get messy, and now I'm just quoting Magic School Bus. But you have to just try things out. Once again, there's really, really no way to know if something will work for you or not unless you try it out yourself. So that's my recommendation. I hope that this kind of helped clear up a little bit why I don't like curl typing. So once again, please stop asking me what my curl type is, and hopefully kind of using that framework to kind of find people to follow online will be helpful. If you're not on Instagram, I definitely recommend getting on the curly part of Instagram. So you can start out by following me, and I share lots of people who I love all the time. So that would definitely be a good starting point. But if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And in the comments down below, I guess let me know your curl type. Let's see what we got going on here. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time it is. It is 10:58 p.m. for me, and I'll see you guys soon.